Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montes and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. Welcome back to today's YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back here together again. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another ranking video for all 6 episodes of Loki Season 2 since it finally ended. So let's go and get started ranking all 6 episodes of Loki Season 2. So, with the third, this is my least favorite episode of all of them, mainly because, to be clear, I like the introduction of Victor Timely in this episode. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with it. I like the inclusion of Ravonna and everything. I just feel like it just uses too much of the 1892 setting that, I don't know, I'm just used to it exploring a little bit of it and then going back to the TVA, because TVA is such an interesting place. And that's what this episode was kind of lacking. It was lacking TVA, and I wanted more of that. But, and then just kind of Sylvie just popping up out of nowhere, and just finding reasons to just not listen, to want to kill Victor Timely. It doesn't make sense. So for me, this kind of comes in last place for me. Actually the 5th episode, and I think that this was actually quite good, as it actually, because what happened in the last episode, in episode 4, where basically Victor Timely failed, and basically everybody, the TVA got destroyed. You got to see everybody in their past lives. You got to see Casey as a prisoner. Mobius was a dad plus a jet ski salesman. You saw Hunter B-15 as a doctor. You saw OB still as a scientist and a researcher. You saw these guys as all these things. The problem here is I would kind of have liked to have seen a bit more in from this, and I don't know, I guess, though I do like the arc that Loki actually finds out how to use how to control his time slipping, which was something that I never thought I would actually like to see, but that was actually really compelling. So I like that stuff. Alright, so we have episode 6. I think that this was a good episode. Definitely very, very good. It definitely had a lot of emotion. It used the way to save the day in an interesting way. And so we can't save the Temple Loom. If I can't kill Sylvie, if I can't convince Sylvie to not kill He Remains, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and I'm going to hold it. I'm gonna hold the throne at the end of time, and I'm going to hold the secret timeline together and create the Heedrissel tree, the world tree. And there's something so compelling about that, though I'm curious to see where Loki's going to be in the future. I'm excited to see where the TVA is going to be in the future. So yeah, it was a good episode, but not my favorite. So for me, what I loved about this episode was you find out with Ravonna that she was being lied to, that she cannot trust the He Who Remains variants. She tries to take over the TVA, and you get Loki and Victor Timely and interacting with all these other characters, which has all these fun dynamics. But you have this urgency where you're trying to build this machine. You finally get to it, and Victor Timely gets put in the suit, and he dies. He turns to noodles. The thing that Obi was talking about with Mobius turning into noodles, that's what he was talking about when Victor Timely did that. And it was just absolutely crazy and insane, to where it's like, what just happened? What are we gonna do now? And so yeah, it just led to that great thing with this episode, so I loved it. So as the first episode of season 2, I absolutely loved this first episode. I thought what this episode did really well is kind of brought you back into the world of the Loki series, as well as kind of catch you up on what happened in the final episode of season 1, but also keeps the plot simple but understandable at the same time, to where you're able to understand everything. And it also introduces Ki Hui Kwan's character in OB, which once again throughout this entire series, he's just such a likable character that you like him so much. And so it has this plotline about him time slipping through the past, present, and future. So we get to learn a little bit about that, but how do we stop it? And it kind of finds a unique way to do things in that regard. Has some funny moments, and so overall, it just does stuff that I loved, and it just brought me back into the world of Loki that I just really love. Easily coming in first place is Loki Season 2, Episode 2. For me, this is easily my favorite episode of this season, and the main reason for that is because it did something that I think Episode 3 failed to do, where this episode was able to go back into a timeline that is old, it's old-fashioned, but it's able to still be in the TVA and have the funness of the characters. So it opens up with Loki and Mobius going to like the 1970s, I believe, or 1980s, to find this hunter guy from the first episode, because he found a life on the sacred timeline. So they get him, you have a little chase, you get some fun with Loki's powers, and then you get back to the TVA, let him sit in a sauna, have interrogations, but then also have deep stuff about Loki, and this guy comments on Loki's stuff about there's lives at stake, and like, you're a villain, you're good at that, do that. And you have this guy just talking down to Loki, and then you have people talking to Mobius. You have this guy talking to Mobius saying, have you even checked what your life was like on the timeline? Don't you want to see what your life was like before you got taken? Like, that's interesting stuff. And then you have this scene, which was probably my favorite scene of the entire show, where you just get Loki and Mobius eating key lime pie and just talking. It's just so interesting. That's what makes this show so great. And at the same time, you also just has all the funness of Loki doing mischievous things, plus having that fun action sequence with Loki and Sylvie, plus the reunion of Loki and Sylvie. And then, of course, the terrifying death of all the brand just getting destroyed and dying. So that's why I loved this episode. It just kind of combined all the stuff I love about it. That's it. Thank you guys. That's my ranking. Be sure to tell me down below your ranking down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media down in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.